Thank you, Mrs. Snedeker and our BES band for helping us to open up this special celebration with such beautiful music. Good morning, BES. I want to begin our morning by extending a very warm welcome to our community guests and to our BES alumna, Amy Van Doren, and to our special guest, Dr. Coleman. We are all so delighted to come together this morning to celebrate our BES Moon Tree and all of the amazing people who worked so hard to bring this tree from seed to sapling, from earth to space, and back to earth to arrive here at BES. It's really an amazing journey, and all of us have the opportunity to be part of that. We will begin, like we do all of our all-school assemblies, with the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you'd like to join for the pledge, please stand and face the flag. Go ahead and place your right hands over your hearts. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our first speaker this morning is BES 6th grade teacher, Ms. DeYoung.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Mrs. Burstein. I was new at Bernardston last year, and students, you might not know this, but before the school year starts, your teachers get together with your last year's teachers and kind of talk about students. So last year I met with Mrs. Muse and Mrs. Clary and talked about all of the incoming 6th grade students. And everyone kept saying, you're gonna love Amy Van Doren. She's smart, she's thoughtful, she's a good classmate, she's a great friend. But you're probably gonna need to come up with some extra projects for her. And I was like, okay, I'm a new 6th grade teacher. I was kind of nervous about coming up with everything already, and now I have a student who's gonna need some extra projects. I was like, okay, I have a great classroom library. Maybe we can do some extra reading projects. Luckily, Amy came in with her own project. About the first week of school, she finished her work early and was like, can I work on my moon tree application? And I had no idea what a moon tree application was. So Amy told me that she was applying for a sapling from NASA that had been grown from seeds that had gone out to space and around the moon. And so I looked at the application. You know, there's some reading, writing, a lot of writing, some research. It seemed like a great project. So for about a month, Amy, I think every time we had independent work or she finished early, she worked on her moon tree application. And I didn't do much. I read some of her written work. I gave her a couple of suggestions. Our 6th grade IAs at the time, Jen Knight and Jackie Hicks, kind of helped her edit it. Our 6th grade math and science teacher, who's actually here, Catherine Zakili, sponsored it. Jordan Cummings helped, our environmental educator. But mostly it was Amy. She did it all. So let's give Amy Van Doren a round of applause.
Thank you so much, Ms. DeYoung. Like she said, my name's Amy Van Doren. I went to Bernardston Elementary School from K through 6, and I'm now in 7th grade at Pioneer. As you know, there's a moon tree behind the school, but it didn't just land there on its own, parachuting down from orbit. So I want to tell you why I thought it was important to bring a moon tree to the BES community and how we can all work together to further its mission. I've always been inspired by all the people who have lived and researched in space, and I've always wanted to be like one of them, so much that I used to send my schoolwork, Amy Van Doren, future astronaut. When my grandpa sent me a news article, almost 2 years ago from NASA, mentioning the application process for these moon trees, I saw this as a way to start living up to my role models. I realized that instead of waiting to grow up, I could start now. This is an amazing opportunity to share my love for science, space, and nature with the community, so I jumped at the opportunity. Writing the application was fun, but it was also a ton of work. Fortunately, this is a great community where people I'd never met before came together to help support this project, and I also got to know so many people better. Dozens of people and I worked on the application for many weeks. We talked about things like tree care, lesson plans, and even longer-term outreach. Then, when we received the tree, the same people who came together to work on the application helped keep the moon tree alive for its first year, and I'm really grateful for all of their support. For example, I learned that we had a tree warden, Mr. Borderweek, who's ultimately responsible for the tree. And I met Gretchen Licata, the facilities director. I got to know so many teachers and the principal, and the PTO and select board were also really supportive of this project. Jen's summer camp program helped so much in getting the tree through the summer, and I'm really grateful to all the counselors for encouraging the students and campers to care for the tree. I also really want to thank my family because they played a tremendous role in helping me and the moon tree grow and thrive. And finally, I got the opportunity to chat with Dr. Katie Coleman and ask for her support. I think that this tree has been really successful through the first year of its mission, and I've seen so many people rallying around the tree. People I know and people I've never met have asked about the tree, and it's amazing to see my dreams for the moon tree coming true, having lots of people know about it and being actively inspired by it. I'm really happy that all of these people have known about it. And so Dr. Coleman, when we were chatting, mentioned about how NASA uses patches to represent a mission. And we think that developing a patch to represent this mission is a great idea. So sometime soon, your teachers will be handing out some sort of worksheets to develop a patch that you can eventually earn for helping with the tree. Just like I hope that the tree will grow and thrive, I hope that the tree will continue to inspire interest in the community and mean so many things to different people. A way to learn more about space, nature, and a connection to so many new people and ideas.
Thank you very much, Amy. We're also grateful for your hard work in bringing the tree here to BES. We are super lucky to have a former NASA astronaut as our neighbor right here in Western Massachusetts. There are approximately 600 people from all over the world who have had the amazing opportunity to travel to space, and Dr. Coleman is one of them. Katie Coleman is, as I just said, a former NASA astronaut, a retired United States Air Force colonel, a scientist, a pilot, a writer, a musician, and a mom. She is also the author of a new book called Sharing Space, and we'll be very lucky to have some copies of Sharing Space in our BES library. Katie's work has inspired many people all over the world and people right here at BES. Please welcome Katie Coleman.
And I'll be off and going next, like faster.
Hello. I am so excited to be here. My son went to Buckland-Shelburne Elementary. And is anybody here in first grade? Okay. Anybody in second grade? Anybody in third grade? Fourth grade? Fifth grade? Sixth grade? Yay. And maybe preschool. Do we have preschool here too? Kindergarten? Yay. So my son went to those grades at Buckland-Shelburne until almost the end there. But I actually started to get ready to go to space earlier than that. So I told him, I said, okay, I'm not going to space when you're in first grade. I'm not going to go to space when you're in second grade, not when you're in third grade, but when you're in fourth grade, that is when your mom is going to go to space, and then she'll come back, actually, just as you're finishing fourth grade. And so in our town, in Buckland and Shelburne, when it got to be fourth grade, my son and his friends all said, oh, well, Jamie's mom's going to go to space this year because we're in fourth grade. And I actually got to talk to them from space. But I'm just going to show you a little bit about going to space. This is the space shuttle, and that's one of the spaceships that we went to space in. Next. And you can just scooch it closer to you, or you can move. And is it going? Let's see. Might be. Let's see, PowerPoint. Let's see, it should just go. Maybe. We always have to figure things out. It's part of what we do, right? So let's do this. It's a little bit stuck here. Here we go. Yeah? And is it going to go like this? Oh, there we go. Yay! So, everybody who's an astronaut is something else first. And some of our astronauts were teachers first. And one of our astronauts was a principal. So the principal solved things. So this is my second mission to space. There's 5 of us. That's us in our spacesuits. And one of these people is actually pretty famous. She's the first mom and woman to be in charge of the space shuttle, because at first it was not always so many women, but now we have actually quite a lot of women. And so all of us get to go to space. And this is our crew, and all of us have different jobs. I was a scientist, a chemist from here in Massachusetts, and this Steve Hawley is an astronomer. Jeff is a pilot, and Michelle is a pilot as well. And Eileen is a pilot, as well as also training in engineering. Next. So this is us, and now I'm going to show you, that's Eileen, but we're also famous because we brought the biggest and the heaviest telescope or anything to space. It was the biggest and the heaviest thing we ever brought to space in the back of the space shuttle. Next. And this is us launching. We're going to watch it for a few seconds. Counting down, 10, 9. Here's retracting. We're retracting the place that if we have something go wrong, then we can climb out of the hatch and come out onto the launch pad, take slide wires and slide our way down to the ground. We're always thinking, what if this happens? What if this happens? And we don't wait to figure that out. We practice ahead of time. Just like when you have fire drills here, you practice them so that when everything happens, you know what you're going to do. And these are our engines on the bottom of the space shuttle, and they're just about to light. They're getting all ready. They're doing a little practicing as well. And this is the top of the space. And you might think this is holding up the very tippy point of the space shuttle, but it's not. It's actually keeping, our fuel is very cold, and it gets very frosty on the outside, and that is actually a heater cap that keeps it from having too much ice on the very top there. And this is our launch pad, and we are getting closer and closer to launching on our space shuttle. So we're inside here. I am sitting right under those windows. And this is starting the engines. 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff. That space shuttle is so very heavy, like 230,000 pounds. It takes so much fuel, and also just understanding how to make really efficient rockets for us to go to space. And we are lifting off, getting into space. It takes us about 8.5 minutes to get to space. Not very long. Next. And this is what happens when we're up there. We're up there. We're getting ready to launch our telescope. Next. And then push that again. And this is our telescope going out into space. It's the biggest. It would be as long as this gymnasium here. It's really, really, really big. And the reason I want you to know about this is that this telescope is not very close to the Earth. It's a third of the way to the moon. It's almost to the moon. And this telescope looks at something very special that you might be kind of curious about. Black holes. Everything that scientists know about black holes starts with this telescope. Next. And even the first time this is an image of a black hole that was taken by a telescope. And our telescope, the Chandra X-ray Observatory, was the one that told it when to go and point at what place in the universe that we could image a black hole. So all of these, we have like a family of telescopes, and we got to launch one member of the family. Next. But most of my time I spent actually on the space station. So I spent about 16 days on my first mission up in space, 5 days on the second one. But my third mission, it was to the International Space Station. And we are going up, we're launching. I am inside this more tiny rocket. I'm right inside there. And we have a protective kind of can right around our spaceship. And this is our tiny spaceship coming in to dock. And look at this. I'm inside the space station. I am flying. And I got to fly everywhere. I launched just before Christmas, and then I got home at the end of the school year, and that whole time I was floating and flying everywhere because we didn't have very much gravity. And so we don't have zero gravity, but we have just a tiny, tiny amount. But you can see that my hair stands up, and let's see what else we see. And you can see our view out the window. It's very, very beautiful. And when I looked down, I could see the whole Earth. And there's the stars. Next. So that is the space station. And do you see the Earth here? So we're not so far away. It turns out space is not so very far away. Space is about 50 miles away, and we're about 250 miles away. So like going from here to Maine, if we were going to go straight up, and if we went to Maine, it would be about that distance. If we went straight up, that's where you're going to find the space station. And I lived there for almost 6 months. Next. These are 3 of the people. Next. We're from all different countries. From Russia, from Italy, from Japan. There's about 17 different countries in our crew. We had Russia and Italy and the US. Next. That's all 6 of us. And it was pretty fun up there. We got to choose our snacks. So I brought next. And you can just kind of flip through these. This is a drop of water in space. Like, without gravity making it be on the floor, it actually forms a sphere. And it's easier to study. And we can understand, what do liquids really want to do? And it's important because liquids are our rivers, there are streams, there are oceans, but they're also... We have liquid in us, right? We have pipes. We have our own little pipes in our body, arteries and veins. We always need to understand more about how that works. Next. And this is what a candle flame looks like in space. It's not tall and skinny because those lighter gases aren't rising like hot air balloons. And so they don't rise, and so they make a sphere. And this is a little plant growing in space. People were upset that I might grow the plants, and you are growing a moon tree, right? Well, before we did that, we wanted to understand, how do we grow other things? So because when we go to Mars, and you might be the ones going to Mars, we want to have food, right? We wanted to understand how to grow plants, and it helps us understand how to grow plants here on Earth. Next. We do exercise. Exercise keeps our bones healthy and up in space, our bones and muscles, and down here on the ground. Really important. Next. And we go there with lots of different people. There's different crews. So do you ever work in groups in your classes? Do you work together? Okay. So do we. And we don't get to go with our friends. We have to figure out how to make a team. Next. And how to make a team that really does their best together. And I think it took quite a team to have the moon tree planted here. And I really think that Amy did so much work, but also other people. And so to be on a team, it means that you need to be brave enough to stand up and say, here's my idea. Whether you think it's the best idea in the world or not, it's your idea, and it's so important. And so everyone has to feel free to say what their ideas are, and a little harder, you have to listen to other people's ideas because they're going to be different than your ideas. Next. But this is about a minute long. And it just shows a little bit about what it's like living in space. We're running on the treadmill, which we can't do unless we're sort of tied down, because otherwise we'd just like be up in space, right? We have to wash and be clean just like you do, but we don't have a bathtub or a shower. So we just take a washcloth and this is our sleeping bags. And some people miss having a pillow for their head, but we don't really lie down on the bed. So some people strap a pillow onto their head so that they kind of feel like they have a pillow. I didn't actually do that. This is learning how to repair things. I didn't really know how to repair things, but then they taught us how to use tools, and when they have directions, and all of us learned how to repair things. And then this is our beautiful window looking out. And this is floating around, more flying, and now you're going to see the thing I think is very cool. So my friend Satoshi, you're going to see him in a minute, he loves baseball. He's from Japan. It's his favorite thing. But everybody else is doing experiments, and he has a break, so he's going to play baseball, but he has to be the pitcher because there's only him. Well, but then he also has to be the batter. And we don't have a bat up there, but we do have a big flashlight. And he also has to be the outfielder. So we have to have new ideas about playing games. So, who thinks that living in space would be fun? Raise your hand. Oh, it's so fun. And I think that you might like living up there. Next. And so this is our space station on the Earth. Look at the view. Next. And we're going to go, you can just keep flipping through these. This is the window, and all of us take our picture in the window, and we all take different pictures. And this is the window where we look out on the Earth. You can just keep flipping through, Miss Bernstein. Yep. And we're actually kind of upside down if you think about it, if we're looking at the Earth. This is Massachusetts. Okay, there's Cape Cod. We're up here. I always find the Quabbin, and I can find where I live. It's sunset. There's Massachusetts. So I liked seeing the place that I lived. And as my friend said, he goes, oh, it looks just like the map. And it's true. And there's our crew. Keep going. And you can keep flipping through this. Every one of us, when we look out that window, all of the astronauts are different. We all have different points of view. And when we look out the window, we see different things. And we have different ideas. And now you see that in space, when we have a crew, we only have about 6 people. Oh, can you go back one? Okay. Go back. Okay, this picture right here is important because this is my friend. So this is Nelka from Japan. This is Dottie from Seattle. This is Tracy. She's a chemist. Dottie's a teacher. And this person up here, this is Stephanie Wilson. Stephanie is from Pittsfield, and she's going to space next year. Yes, it's going to be very cool. She's an engineer. She designs everything about like parachutes so that when spacecraft land, they land in a parachute. That's Stephanie. Next. And so we have all sorts of people up there, and we're all very different from each other. We have different ideas. Next. And one thing that's really important is that you can have a good idea, but if you don't share it, nobody will know. So sharing your ideas is really important, and that's what Amy did in this project. Is she had an idea, she shared it, she got the help she needed to make the project work, and now you have a moon tree growing outside your school, and really not many people. I have never seen one before. I'm going to see it for the first time too. Next. And so sharing your story is important. Next. I play music, so I share music. I play with a lot of friends around here in Bernardston and Northfield. And my husband is an artist. I saw a lot of art here in the school. And this is a way to tell the story of the explorations that we do. Because if you discover something and then you can't tell the story, and everyone has different skills. Some people are really good at figuring out, how do I build, the glass furnace or the torch? Or my husband is a glass artist, so we have lots of, sort of fire-related things in our house. And he loves looking at nature. He loves looking at the moon, and it inspired him. It inspired him to make things that look like they were from space, because he thought everyone should understand what space. This is a planet. Does anybody know what planet that is? I don't think you do. Well, it turns out it's an art planet, so we don't know. But when we think about what else could be out there, why not have somebody who tells stories, whether they are singing or writing books or drawing paintings or making things out of clay or making things out of glass? They help us use our imaginations to have even more ideas. Next. And this is our house and our studio where my husband makes work. So I live in Shelburne, and it's just down the road. It took me only 18 minutes to get here. Next. And my son, this is my son when I went to space. He's standing on my little spot on the launch pad to salute and go to space. And he was 10 years old when I went to space. Next. And this is my son's a few years ago. One is 41 now, one is 25, one is a landscape architect because he learned so much about what was beautiful and what grew and what plants were important here in Western Massachusetts. It made him want to be somebody who's kind of like a shepherd of the outdoors. And I heard that you are partnered with the forestry department, and they are helping you learn all about trees. You are going to know more about trees than anyone else. Any student around here in the county, you will know more about trees than they will, and it will change your life. Next. And so now they've all graduated from school, and they're doing different things. Landscape architect, one is a photographer, and the cat, and that was our zero gravity Cheetos experiment, throwing the Cheetos up in the air. Next. And now I just want to really quickly show you, we're talking about the moon, right? And your seeds launched on Artemis 1. Artemis is the moon missions that are happening now. And the moon, when we went to the moon before, they were called Apollo. Well, Artemis is the sister of Apollo. Because back then, only guys went to the moon, and we know that everybody has ideas, so we need to bring everyone. And so I worked on some of the projects, like what are we going to make for moon rovers? Would this be a good moon rover? And so we practice. We build it. We go, oh, not this part. Oh, that part. This will be, oh, this was hard. This is the capsule. This is a practice one. But this is me right here, and we are practicing. So here in school, do you do a lot of homework? No? Well, all of the things. So, when you are reading, do you do reading? Yeah. And what about writing? And some math? And some art? Yeah. And I heard some very good music. And I was in the band when I was in school. I play the flute. So all of those things are essential for being space explorers. Because all of us need to know how to read, write, share our stories, and also learn things. And so this is what I just want to show you real quick. This is the map of where your moon tree, the seed, went. So here's Earth, right? It launched from Earth, okay? It went around the moon, and then it came back all the way back home. See, this blue is its return. And it went the furthest from Earth than anything has ever gone before. So your seeds went to the moon. Next. And this is the rocket that they were on. Now, most of the rocket is the fuel and the engines, but up here is the capsule. Are you watching? Up here is the capsule. And this, now you're going to see the launch. Here's the launch here. And the reason you're seeing this is that I was at the launch of Artemis 1, and I am taking this video with my phone. I saw your moon tree seeds go to space. They were on their way. Can you see they're going up and up and up? There we go. Up and up. It's so loud. We don't have the sound, but it's so loud that you actually kind of feel the sound in your chest when you're standing here and you're watching. and everyone is watching, and you can see that going to space is really important, and it's really hard to do, and it makes everyone think about what else is out there. When you look up in the sky, what do you see? Lots of things. It's so interesting. You can keep flipping through. And this, can you go back one? Sorry. Okay, this is an important picture, and the reason is this. So this is Artemis. Your moon tree seeds. All the moon tree seeds were right inside this capsule. And this is our Earth, and Artemis is taking a selfie. Artemis is taking a picture of itself and the Earth. And, okay, were any of you alive 2 years ago? Yes. So that means that you are in this selfie photograph. You are here, because if you were alive on Earth 2 years ago, 3 years ago, then that is, you were there. And so Artemis took this picture. Next. And these are the people that are going to go next to the moon. The first mission was no people, only lots of experiments and moon tree seeds. So your seeds went to the moon. I saw them launch. I saw them come home. It was a really important experiment for the next time when we actually send people to space. And with that, I will send it back to Ms. Burstein, the principal. And I will just say to Amy, thank you. Thank you for what Amy did was very hard. And even, there's all sorts of different parts of what she did. And one of them was contacting me because remember we've talked about storytelling, how important it is? In her proposal, she had to show that we promised not just to plant the moon tree, but to tell the story of it, right? And so she wrote to me, asked me if I would help. I didn't write back, right? And then she wrote again because she thought, well, maybe she's busy and maybe that's why she didn't write back, which would be correct. And I'm working on that. But she was persistent, and I'm really sorry that you had to write back, but I really appreciate that you did because you knew that this idea was important for everyone who lives here, for us to be part of this story. And I want to say thank you very much, and thank you to Bernardston Elementary and to everybody who's making this possible, the people in the forestry department, the parents, all the students, everybody, because I am so excited and it's so important, and people are going to want to know about this, so it's great that you can tell this story.
Thank you very much, Katie. The pictures were amazing, and now you all have stories to tell. Katie has told you the story, and now you have stories to tell about space and exploration and about our really special tree. So let me tell you what's going to happen next. Our BES band in a moment is going to start playing Grand Old Flag. And our special guests, our speakers, and our community guests are invited to head up to our library with Miss Steinitz. Can you give us a wave, Zevi? Zevi will lead our speakers and our guests up to the library. There's a chance for you to go and see our moon tree and have some snacks. Take a peek at Katie's book and at a beautiful collection of books that our school librarian, Miss Burke, has put together. So, BES students, we're going to let the grown-ups head up to the library, and then we will send our students back. Okay, so the BES band will begin. Miss Steinitz is going to bring our guests up to the library, and then students will dismiss.